It's Amir Beganovic. I'm born in Srebrenica on 28th of April 1984. Have lived in Bosnia until 2002 when I moved with my family. So that's with my mum, dad and sisters.
My name is Nermin Shabanovic. I was born 1964 in a city called Zenica, right on the heart of Bosnia and Herzegovina.
My name is Murad Muratovic. I was born in village of Kođeni, municipality Han Pjesak.
Hi, my name is Anisa Arandic. My maiden name is Hasanovic. Originally, my background is from Bosnia. Come from Srebrenica, specifically from the village called Sučeska.
One of the best memories I will have, where it would be 15 to 20 of the kids playing at the same time, because I come from a very large family, especially from mum's side, where she's one of 6. So, and dad's side, he's one of 5, so it's quite a big family, I would say. The other memories will be going through primary and high school.
Made basketball club in the war in Hrasnica called Charlie, and then we used to train when we got the time, and then we won first Bosnian championship in 1993, and I was really proud to be part of that generation with really good players. Our coach was Sabit Hadžić, who was the player in golden Bosnia generation. They've been winning the European championship in basketball.
Became Yugoslavian champion as a junior. So very, I would say this because there was Zenica had never national champion in any sport before. It was the first national champion in my city where I was born. It was for me something big, for everyone big, but especially for me, because I was still at this high school. I was just like very proud and everything.
Playing outside with my friends, going to school with them, and my dad was a teacher, so I was going to school with him too. So yeah, just playing outside and having, especially when it was winter, playing with snow, and yeah, so it was the best memories.
Then unfortunately, the war came to our city, like in any city in Bosnia at that time.
I was 7 at the time, so I remember just finished my first year. To what I remember, it was the time where mum told us to stay away from a particular side of the house.
Lived with people all your life, and you couldn't see they treated you like enemy. And basically the culture was like living together, supporting each other. But only, as I said, the old generation, they remind us and they told us that stories what happened before, which I said we couldn't believe it,
I remember 1992, the war started, and we were watching that on TV. I was very little at the time, about 6 years or so. So yeah, and I remember my mom saying, that's not real, it might be a movie. We couldn't believe that people were getting killed.
Before I came to Rogatica, actually I was studied in the capital city of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Sarajevo. And just like every weekend, I visited my parents, and unfortunately at that time the war started in our city as well.
1992, the war started. When the war started, I was in Banja Luka. It was very hard. Banja Luka, as you know, was on the siege even from the war when it was war in Croatia. So they had an army. They had their base there. They were very strong. They couldn't do anything.
The next thing I remember is us moving from home and hiding from the bombs that came from aircrafts to fly across the home.
That 22nd of May was a very important day for me. Actually, the life and everything that I achieved before stopped at that date. And unfortunately, only in a few days' time, everything that my parents achieved and they built for the rest of their life was gone in only 2 days.
I remember I was very, very scared. I was frightened to go outside because I thought like, something will happen to me, so I was child.
I always remember the story of my grandmother, who was living nearby Rogatica in the Second World War. And at that time I couldn't understand, and I couldn't believe it, that their neighbors slaughtered them, and they just they chased them through the hills and everywhere basically, and if they caught someone, they just killed everyone. And then in few seconds you realize, oh, okay, so that's coming, exactly what's happened to our whole generation.
All the cafes or restaurants, they were putting bombs in them, like you see, like every night you could hear 3-4 explosions, it wasn't easy to sleep as well. There was a pressure on people to leave the city, to leave Banja Luka, Then I decided to run away. It was very hard for me because I wasn't sure if they catch me somewhere on a passing point, what will happen with me.
Very few of us being really optimistic. They been thinking, okay, this is going to be happening only for a few days and we'll be able to go back. But unfortunately, day after day passing, then we realized that's it. We have to move further away from Rogatica.
The Serbian army came and they overtook the place. So basically, they came in, burned the whole village, destroyed homes, destroyed the local mosque, destroyed almost anything that was there. But that's the main reason we left, not because we wanted to, because we had no choice.
We decided, of course, we told the neighbors, so around, I would say, 500 of us, decided to escape.
No, so we had to move out of the house. I remember it was almost night time, and I remember my dad coming and saying we have to leave. And I was almost 12 at the time, but yeah, I felt so sad. I started crying. And I remember, sorry, I'm emotional. As we are traveling through the forest, I remember we could set the fire. They started setting the fire, people's houses on fire and stuff. And I remember when all the males were divided to us, they had to go separately. They were afraid to go to Potachar because they thought they will all get killed in there.
It wasn't easy. There was a lot of killing there. It was a lot of people disappearing. You sleep overnight, and it just 2-3 o'clock, bam.
So I'm the oldest in my family. I have 2 sisters and brother. They were so little, and 2 of them were sick at the time. So my dad said, stick to the neighbors. We had very good neighbors, very close relationship with them. So they were just stick to them, so you and we did. So they were very good friends of ours. So yeah. So they were helping mom, and I had my grandma and my grandfather with us. So my grandfather decided to go with us. He was helping mom a lot. Yeah. So yeah, and we went to Potachar.
From what I remember, I think it was early morning, really early morning. We left and, we managed to find, as I said, a secure place within a couple of days, but that was just start of the struggle.
We just had clothes on our body and nothing else, and we escaped, basically, you just run for life, save your own head. And then, of course, we escaped nearby, in the villages nearby Rogatica, and that, the journey started.
Dad, as it is any war, Dad went in to protect us. We haven't seen him for about 2 years because he ended up going to a completely separate pathway.
That was the last time we saw him, yeah. They just decided to meet with other civilians, and get in a group together and try to get to Free Territory Tuzla. Many of them didn't know the way to Tuzla, but they were relying on other people.
People just going they didn't have an idea on where they're going. They're thinking, okay, somewhere else is better. But basically, like, you know, when you're coming to another place, it was the same story, same things, no food, no shelter, nothing.
It was 2 years after I can't clearly remember how, but somehow he managed to get through to us. And he wasn't, initially, it wasn't the greatest feeling as a kid. It's sad to say, I was afraid of my own father because I haven't seen him for 2 years. So I didn't know who is he, how does he look like, and it took me 2 days to reconnect.
Yeah, and I remember people coming from Srebrenica to Tuzla. Some of them were coming, and you know, like we could see people hugging each other. They were like so happy to meet their family members. But we were like leaving, you know, presents for our dad. Like we were hoping he will come.
He does have stories, but he never shares it with us. It's not easy. You know, he lost 2 brothers in the war and other family members. So the war for him it's you know, one of those places that we just don't go into.
And some people were saying, oh, we saw your dad in Konjović Polje with other people in the line, like he had his hands behind his back like that. Yeah. But yeah, it's good I haven't seen him, so yeah. My uncle came, which was a good thing. So he was traveling with my dad, apparently, like through forest, and my dad always had a strategy, you know, like if we go somewhere it's dangerous, like don't go together, 2 brothers don't go together, like please let's separate. If something happened to one of us, the other might survive.
From like our closest siblings, that it's from my mum and dad tell me, because I don't remember all of them because I was a kid when it all happened. It's in excess of 40. Because my family originally comes from Srebrenica, which, as most people would be aware of, it's the biggest genocide that happened in European soil since the Second World War.
When I came to Australia, everything started well. Now boxing, life, you know, it wasn't easy. You know, I couldn't speak English at all, only from the movies, few words.
I didn't know any word of English. During my schooling, I learned language, German language, so unfortunately, like, you know, I only knew a few words in English, you know, I picked up from the American movies.
I think day 2 in Australia, went to Tibetan Senior College. So I did a new arrivals program, which is, you know, learning the English to do TAFE. And then from TAFE, I obviously, you know, managed to get a job in NAB, and now I'm doing Masters in Business Administration.
Yeah, I had basic knowledge of English, you know, so I found it very depressing to not understand like the name of the subjects and meaning. I was like, oh my God, I was just dreamt like, oh, I want just to go Bosnian kiss the Bosnian land, you know. I missed it so much, and yeah, so I finished some courses at TAFE, and then I had my daughter, and then I decided to go to uni and finish the degree in social work, and yeah, and I did, and I'm working. I
turned professional when I came here. Then I jumped on in cruiserweight category #1 in Australia. I was #1, ranked #1.
I did work hard, studied hard, finished few certificates, then finished TAFE, finished university, and currently I'm a clinical nurse working in aged care. Australia helped me at the beginning, and now it's my time to help Australian.
But what I recommend to our kids, especially every kids anyway, but especially Bosnian, they have to know who they are, where they're from. This is very important. It will never happen again. What happened?
Study hard, you know. It can be challenging at the time, but just keep going. Stick to your culture. That's the way we live.
My advice to them would be yourself and do what you can. You know, if your ability is to, you know, walk 10 meters today, try to do 11. So just go one step extra.
My advice to all generation, like, you know, to never lose connection, never forget where you come from, what's your background, and be proud of your home country.
We have to tell our kids, you know, what happened. We have to, otherwise it will happen again. It will happen again. Yeah, unfortunately, with the Bosnian people is like that. We are very metal people. It's very hard. We are very soft people. We're very good people, you know. Our heart is different. Not like them. We don't hate. Hate is sickness. If you hate, it's not good.